to Homesteading with Sadie. I'm Robin.
And I'm Bob.
And Sadie! Sadie's chewing on something that
Back to that
she's
stick.
not supposed to.
And she will not
And
come
she won't
join
come over
us.
here. Anyway, we're going to talk today about our garden, what we learned. I don't know, our
What we
garden
grew.
knowledge.
What we grew, what did grow, what did not, and what was very productive.
If you watch our first video on the gardening, I'll link it below, and where we showed you what we had planted and how well it was growing. So we did green beans.
Green beans grew well, plenty.
So we did like only 5. We grew everything from seed except for like a couple plants that I bought at the store. But we planted 5 of the seedlings from the beans and got a crazy crop. Still getting beans.
Still growing,
Still
still
getting
growing.
beans. It's in August now. Actually, tomorrow, Sunday, is
September
September.
1st.
So peas, green peas.
Grew.
We got a good crop of green
Good
peas.
pea.
Cucumbers. We planted cucumbers in both beds. Did we not?
No.
Oh,
We
cucumbers
grew
in the second
Cucumbers
bed.
in the second bed.
And we got cucumbers.
Yeah, and then we get zucchini in the first one.
No, it was squash.
Squash.
Because I want to plant zucchini next year because I saw on Stiver's homestead, she has a recipe for zucchini bread. And he said it was really awesome, so I want to try that next year. I don't think we're going to do squash next year. I ended up giving it away. Apparently, I'm the only one that eats squash. So, and I don't like it that much. So, because we had gotten several squashes.
Yeah.
And so we had tomatoes. I had a friend give me a tomato plant. And then I bought a tomato plant. And then we planted from seedlings that we grew and then transplanted. Did I ever get any tomatoes from any of those?
Got one right now. Growing.
Yeah, one growing now.
Planted the green tomatoes.
In buckets. The green tomatoes
And-
we put in buckets.
Flowers on them again. They're about 6 foot tall with no tomatoes.
No tomatoes. I think they might have got a little flowers, but I never
That
got
was
a
it?
tomato. Never got a tomato. So,
Watermelon did good.
let's see.
Planted one plant.
We planted one plant in a pot, and it grew a watermelon about this big. And then, did something get it or did it bust open? It never got any more than that big.
that one.
I think it busted open. No, the wind blew it off. The wind blew it off the pot. So we had a bad windstorm a month or so ago, and it blew my little watermelon off. But it never really seemed to get more than that big, and probably because it was in a pot. So, see what else? Put a watermelon in the ground and let it vine up the trellis. If you look at the other videos, you'll see that. But I was getting tiny little watermelons, and then I got the one watermelon that was actually sitting on the ground, and it got rot from the water. But it didn't manage to cut that watermelon up. It wasn't quite right, but it did make some good smoothies. I mean, you know, it wasn't ripe enough to like eat,
Right.
but it did make some good smoothies. But now that same vine has a watermelon on it hanging, and I had to like tie it up. So I watch that every day. I don't want to lose that watermelon.
Yeah, because that one's going to be tasty.
It's exciting. But if you know more than I know, comment below. But I believe when the stem starts turning brown is when the watermelon's ripe. So I've been looking every day because it's heavy. It's heavy.
It's
I did it with stockings, and I had to put another stocking on, and it's like it's heavy. It's heavy.
and all the berry bushes, they're growing, not producing, because they're still young.
The blackberry we bought at Lowe's, and it had some berries on it already. It was just a couple stems, and then the birds ate all the berries. And every time it gets a berry on it, the birds eat the berries. But it's so little; it's not even not even a big plant. So hopefully, and that's in a pot. So I'm thinking that's restricting it from growing.
Yeah, because the raspberry's in the ground and it's growing.
Yeah, the raspberries got lots of. The grapevine, I didn't expect anything from the grapevine this year.
But that's actually growing.
It's growing, and then come February we'll trim the grapevine back, because you trim grapevines back in February. I'll trim it back, and then hopefully next year we get a few grapes out of it. It takes about 7 years for a grapevine to really mature and give you a good crop. And those are muscadines. We got muscadines, right?
Yes.
Or I think they're red muscadine or bronze, which I like the green ones better. But
We had a very hot summer.
we did. So we
Very
had
low.
corn. I was so excited about the corn. Because growing up, my dad used to grow corn. And he always made it seem like it was hard to grow corn. Even though we always had corn. I don't know, apparently it is hard to grow corn. Because I grew stalks, you've seen those videos, they were taller than me. And they had ears on them. And I made sure they were pollinated. I shook the things, and we had plenty of bees. But
Oh.
then one day they started turning red,
Wow.
and then they died.
That,
So we either didn't harvest when we should have, or it was too hot, or maybe they just didn't get enough fertilizer. I didn't really fertilize the garden that much. I bought the fish. What is this stuff? The fish fertilizer. And I sprayed that maybe just a couple times this year. It's a 511. And it smells. Smells like fish fertilizer would smell. Hey Sadie. Hey Sadie.
oh, we can jump it up here.
Okay, so let's see.
And now we got a bell pepper growing.
Yeah, we've got one green bell pepper growing. I planted bell peppers from seeds, the multicolored ones, and the plants looked really good. They were green and growing. Never produced a pepper. not one.
Onions did well.
The green onions.
Yep.
The bulb onions, I don't know. They never got any bigger than the bulb that we planted. But if you can't grow green onions, they grow wild in your yard most of the time. So
Yep.
green onions are easy to grow. Mint, all you do is throw some water on it, and the mint grows. That's mint out there. It's like crazy.
So what else we got out there? We got
So the companion gardening, I was kind of trying that with the mixing of the beds, because I put like, okay, next year I'm gonna be a little more organized. I was just trying to be fancy. I was trying to make my garden,
yeah, there we go.
yeah, because I didn't want to plant like rows. I wanted it to be,
She wanted it to be scattered.
and I wanted it, I was testing to see what grew well where. We have 3 raised beds. Oh, there's a bird on the bird feeder.
Yes, cardinals and the bird feeder.
And I'm looking at that raised bed now, and I'm like, it's a little smaller. So we're going to do some more raised beds.
Yep. Put a couple more.
And with the 3rd raised bed we built, that we did a stain video on, we're going to put strawberries in that.
Yep.
But we haven't got the
I haven't filled it up yet.
soil yet for it. But I'm going to put the strawberries in and just let the strawberries go crazy. Hopefully. We got a few strawberries this year. Not a lot. So,
Build a couple. We got room. Build like 3 more beds.
let's see.
Square off the yard for chickens. This is our winter projects.
We did radishes.
Radishes were
The radishes were good.
good.
And
Got,
green onions.
got potatoes
Oh,
over there.
cantaloupe.
Wow.
You see,
Was growing good.
we don't have a big backyard. If you watch some of the videos, you'll see it. You know, we're looking for a homestead. We're looking for a larger land. But where we do live, there's a field, 200 acres. 200 acres of land that they cleared last year or the year before.
2 years ago now.
2 years ago. And they've been fighting with zoning. And 'cause they want to put apartments and stuff in there. But anytime, and then we've been flooded twice. Anytime this stuff happens, all the wild animals come to our yard. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. Nobody else has said anything to me in the neighborhood. But
Biggest thing is moles. So if anybody knows the best way to get rid of moles, please let us know.
They're tearing up the yard.
Bad.
Tearing up the yard. But we've had raccoons. We've had
river rats.
river rats.
Um,
River rats.
there's actually a bunny living here now somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's a big old bunny living under the shed. Pretty sure he's living on. I don't know how he's getting under there, but because the shed's sunk over time. Anyway, the cantaloupe. So we were growing the cantaloupe, and then we weren't sure what it was because I scattered the garden without organization. And then we figured out it was a cantaloupe. It was about this big.
Now the first one looked like a softball,
Wait, we
but
had
it
more
fell
than
off.
one?
It fell off during
Oh.
a storm.
So that one fell off during this one too. So
And
then we got another one. It was about this big.
And something wanted it a lot more than we did.
Something got it. I don't know. It was in the middle of the raised bed, and something ate it. Did he crack it open or just like he ate everything out of it, the middle of it? Didn't I think
Yeah.
they left the seeds?
Got a little hole and then ate everything inside.
I don't know. If you guys have an idea what that might be, I wouldn't think it was a rat. It could have been,
I'm
and
hoping I got rid of it.
and I think a raccoon would have made more destruction since it was in the middle of the raised bed. But who knows? The raccoons are pretty clever animals.
The best product we had of the year, though, was the marigolds.
Oh, the marigolds. Crazy marigolds. So I planted marigolds in containers, in both raised beds. I had 2 different packets of seeds, maybe 3 different packets of seeds. Trying to think. The one marigolds in the first raised beds only got about this tall, which is what I'm used to marigolds being.
About a foot tall. That was
You
it.
know, you go to the store, you go to Lowe's, you buy marigolds, they're only about that tall. And then the ones in the pot got pretty big, they got about this big. They're still growing actually.
Yeah.
And then the one in the second raised bed, if you look at the other videos, they got like, what do you say, 3 feet tall and bloomed out, took over the whole bed. I literally had to tie them up. They smell so good though. They really do smell good. And I've had to deadhead them, because if you don't deadhead them, they think they're dead. They think they're dying. And so I go up there and do that. Now, we'll show you in a minute. But in the one video I did, what's the name of that one video I did? One of the marigold stems broke, and I thought it looked like it had roots on it like the tomatoes do. So I just stuck it in the ground. I didn't know if it would grow or not. It's growing. Up against the fence. Have you noticed?
I seen it. Yeah. when I was
Yeah, it's
cutting
actually
grass.
getting a new flower. So you can plant the marigold stems, because what I noticed was it was like bent and then it was all going up towards the sun. But the plant was bent over and then it broke off, and before it died out completely, I cut it off and put it in the ground. Marigolds are my favorite flower now, I think. The easiest flower. And I planted them like that because of the companion gardening, and it's supposed to keep bugs away, and I think it did.
I really do
So we
believe it
didn't
did.
have a problem with bugs, knock on wood, but we didn't have problems with, I had a couple of the tomato, they're called something, little worms that get on tomatoes, on a couple of my plants, but I picked them off and they didn't come, I hadn't seen them come back. And none of our plants have been eaten by bugs,
Nope.
just some other, some other animal.
Creatures.
All right, so we did, and the pumpkin. The pumpkin vine grew, I did a pumpkin in a pot. The vine grew and then it just died. And then I planted a pumpkin in the raised bed, and the vine got crazy big. I
About
was literally
15 foot
wrapping it
long.
around stuff. Flowered, tons of flowers. In the morning I'd come out, it'd be all flowered.
No pumpkins.
No pumpkins, and then the vine just started dying. If anybody knows how to grow a pumpkin, let me know. But I think we might have planted them too early.
I don't know. That thing was.
I mean, we never got a pumpkin. I just feel like pumpkin season's like right now. I don't know. I've never grown a pumpkin before. I just, like I said, I was just throwing seeds out there to see what we can grow. I'm going to try it again next year though, because it'd be pretty cool to have pumpkins. I think I'm going to do the vining plants, maybe even in the ground along the fence, because the vining plants take a lot of room.
That bean one took.
Not the beans. I think just like the pumpkin and the watermelon,
Mm,
because they like to spread their wings, their vines. What else do we grow?
that carrot's growing now.
Oh yeah, so
Not fast, but they're growing.
So the fall garden. You know what? I never even heard of a fall garden until I started doing this. Did your parents ever plant a fall garden?
Nope. Everything they did was in the spring.
Yeah, like literally, I never even knew people planted fall gardens. I didn't know it was a thing. So obviously I've been watching all the YouTube channels and everybody's planting their fall gardens. So I planted carrots. I did some more peas, I think. And what else did I plant in the other bed? I cannot remember what I put in the other bed. Anyway, the carrots are about literally this big. Literally. Okay, so the fall crop, I forgot I had threw some more corn in there. I mean, why not, right? Who knows? Whatever it does, it does. It doesn't matter. I won't be sad. Wait, is this another corn stalk?
Sure is. Two of them.
I don't know how many I planted. I just threw the seed in the ground.
There's two of them there.
Two, and there's three here.
Three there.
Here's my tiny, tiny little carrots. I think since I direct sowed them, that was probably a mistake. I probably should have started the seedlings. I think direct sowing the fall garden isn't working. And I haven't really seen too many people direct sow the fall garden. I'm trying to think. We planted something else over there. I can't remember what it was though. The potatoes, I'm not even sure. I'm sure there are potatoes in there, but it's gotten so crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even go
can't
over
wait
there.
to see what they look like when they
I'm
come
sure they're
out of the
done. I mean, I haven't gone over there. It's just, it's in a mess of greenery, spiders. So, that's about all we planted this year. So I didn't try any special varieties, like
No, and this
I
was
just bought seeds from
Walmart. Definitely our first year.
Trial and error.
So
what do we learn? Okay, we need to plant more, except the beans. I don't think we need to plant more beans.
Yeah.
But like I need to do more corn. I need to do maybe more pumpkin. I had two plants, but one was in a pot and it didn't make it. And the other pumpkin, I'm not sure if cross-pollination is an issue, if they require cross-pollination with another plant. I'll have to do some research, but I need to plant at least 2 or 3 pumpkin plants. Because, well, I don't know what but there's a percentage of what you're not going to get germinating out of the
Right.
crop, whatever that is. So, we need to plant more crops. Did you learn anything?
Yeah, I learned that bigger beds of plug, definite.
Like longer, just bigger,
Longer,
not
yeah.
deeper. Nothing,
Not
just
deeper,
bigger.
just more room in there.
And we do have the grates, like, what's that stuff called? Hardware cloth on the bottom of the beds because of the molds.
Yep.
That helps. But I hate to say it, but the mold hasn't bothered the watermelon, and that's in the ground. He's been all around it.
Yeah, he's
Been all around it. So,
but I'm gonna put some different grates up instead of what we used for the vines too.
yeah, I want to do that cattle panel, maybe.
And take a couple of the vine ones and actually plant them along the fence that separates the yard from the garden. And just, why not? The fence is there, let's use it.
Yeah, so, and we need to start composting. Well, we're gonna get chickens, so I guess we really don't need to compost because the chickens will do that for us.
Yeah, we're gonna,
We're not gonna get that many chickens.
no,
I'm
chicken
thinking
coop's
maybe
done.
2.
Got some fencing,
Or
let's
3
get the
chickens.
fencing up. And then actually it's ready. Once I get the fencing up.
So, that's all we planted, I guess. I feel like we planted more, but
It seems like we had a lot, especially after all the seedlings we had this past spring and in the house on the kitchen table
with the lights.
under the lights.
But it's, my favorite part was watching them germinate and grow. It was pretty cool. And then put them in the ground. And even though we didn't get a lot of produce, they were really green and growing. They really were.
Got some jealous neighbors.
Yeah. They don't know the whole truth.
Yeah, they just don't know how much did grow, but they're jealous because we made the garden this year.
So, yeah, I don't think any of them are into gardening though. But you don't know. A couple of them rent, so I don't think that they garden. Oh, Sadie's chasing a bird. Oh, that bird's playing with her.
Yes.
Anyway, just look out at the garden. I know we keep looking this way because that's where the garden is. So I did put a marigold in a plant in the middle with lemongrass. Lemongrass did all right. It didn't do spectacular. But I was just had it for keep bugs away.
Even the little plant continued to grow.
Yeah, my cilantro, it grew. I got a crop of cilantro. So, I guess that's what we
Smile.
do.
You're on camera. Smile this way.
Sadie, you want to go to the garden? Let's go to the garden.